We've seen the top stories. Expectations are high concerning the ministerial list of the president.
Yes.
People are saying that they don't want the reputation of what happened with his predecessor, or his successor, whatever it is it's called, where the former president actually took 6 months before he set up his cabinet team. And now there seems to be this worry and concern as to why the president has not sent the list to the National Assembly concerning his ministers to the National Assembly, so that we can understand the direction at which the Nigerian economy is tilting towards. Because without the ministers, much work is not really being done in the country. So how would you react to it? And would you also say, with less than 40 days to the president being in office, are you also worried yourself?
Well, I would say yes, I'm worried, because it was because of the problem, you know, the former administration, that's the former president. Then there was really no rule, no law. It took him 6 months, and we saw those issues when they started their job. And that's why we have this law now that you take office 60 days. That's the time lap you have to really name your ministers and all that, because you want to see that they hit the ground running. But the president has spent, I think, over 40 days now.
Those two.
And we just have some few days left for the expiration of that. And yes, people close to him have said the list is ready, and he has even submitted the list to the security agencies to do due diligence. Yes, I think that should not take time, because we want to see that these ministers are named. We want to see who wants to, especially people are anxious. We want to know who is the finance minister, who is the economic and budget, defense,
power, oil and gas, transportations, and the like.
Whether he's going to retain the oil and gas to himself, but I would advise him not to do that, because we need the president to be focused strategically. I mean, without ministers, he's already the ECOWAS chairman. So that is another additional burden on him. And of course, Nigeria, we cannot run away from. We are the leader in Africa, whether economically or militarily and all that. They still give us that priority. So yes, I expect the ministers and of course some of his few advisors to put these things quickly, and let the security agencies do their work as quickly as possible. Because I'm sure the list, the names there are not people who are strangers. They are Nigerians. They've been with us, and of course the DSS and co will have some dossier about this person.
Exactly.
So it should be easier for them to just quickly do the job, and of course tell the president we are done, and of course let the National Assembly do what they are expected to do. And they want to see them hit the ground running, and because like you have said, the implementation of these policies will depend squarely on these ministers. But well, like my friends will say, if you want to know how the fire will be, you look at the type of firewood they are using. So with the little advisors, special assistants, he has appointed the caliber of persons. We hope to see persons who are willing to serve, who are called to serve, and we want to see, I always say it, we want to see competence over loyalty.
Yes, and that's going to lead me to my next question to you. Judging from the kind of the array of appointment that the president has made recently, judging from his special advisors to the most recent chairman of the presidential tax reform committee, it shows that the president is really keen on bringing technocrat professionals into the system. Now, with that in place, now there seems to be some speculations that the president will also be rewarding politicians who have helped him to emerge as the president of the country. Now, with this being in place, what are your expectations? And if I have to put you at a tight corner, which names do you think would definitely come to mind? Let's even do something like that. Let's make our own projections from iBrandTV. What names would you readily see on the list, either from the business community and also from the political arena?
Well, like you said, this is a real work. But let's even start with when he wanted to appoint his service chief. They said he had over 300 major generals, for him to
select,
and it was a very difficult job for him. So what he now did was, okay, all those who are in this course, the current ones, the ones who just left now, started to be all 37, 36 course, as they call them in NDA, and he now said the whole should go. And 38 became the chief of defense staff, and of course all the other 38 will also have to leave the service. Only one left. For me, that was an objective way of weeding everything out, and from there he now had to make his choice. But this cannot apply when it comes to the ministers. Yes, he wants to put in technocrats, but at the same time, I also believe that those who have worked, politicians, of course, they need to be rewarded. But he should look at the experiences of these politicians. What appointment they had before. Fine, if they were former governors who worked for him very well, you want to look at their stronghold. Yes, I will not make the prediction, but again, I have a governor in mind which I believe can go for certain ministry.
I want to hope that the same governor you have in mind, the same governor I also have in mind.
Of course.
Because the handwriting is clearly written everywhere in the country.
Exactly. So if you give him Minister for Works and Housing,
exactly.
Of course, I will not be.
I think we are thinking alike here.
Okay. So if you give that minister that's former governor, that portfolio, I will be a little bit comfortable, because it has shown that this man has the energy, is intelligent, is vigorous, he wants to achieve, though at times he can use some unconventional ways
to achieve that.
But again, yes, I think that will go. Then for a defense minister, yes, we have a lot of retired generals who will fit in that role very well. But I want to see a defense minister that has been battle tested. That is, because you cannot have a defense minister and we are having bandits, insurgents overrunning certain sensitive military installations or military bases. I want to see a defense minister that is battle tested, and of course very young also, maybe recently retired. And I mean, I can even go further to say these 300 generals, he has even retired. He can also look within and take one of them and see how they can drive that our defense portfolio, because we need our defense and security. Then coming to the minister for, maybe the minister for finance separately, maybe economic planning and budget. I think they should separate those two ministries. Economic planning and budget is very key. I want to see, of course, an economist giving that portfolio, somebody who has international experience, that understands the economy, understands planning, understands budgeting, because for me budgeting is key.
Extremely key to the management of the country's resources.
Therefore, the finance minister, I wouldn't want to say, I want to say a banker. I also want to not necessarily be an economist, but somebody who understands the economy, also looking at how to generate revenue. Because at this time of the day, our debt to income ratio is not too good, and so we need to increase our revenue for the economy to move forward. So these are just some of my expectations, and I think yes, President Tinubu, this is the first litmus test for him.
Exactly.
Because if you have been able to identify talent in Lagos, we want to see that replicated in Nigeria.
Across the board.
Yes.
Finally, before we wrap up on this, there are also speculations that the president might have to pick some of the best performing ministers under the administration of his predecessor. Did you see that playing out here? And if yes, I'll put you on the spot again, Charles. Who are the right ministers that you think will make the list? As we wrap up on this first story.
Well, it's the same party, but I think different orientation. Because for me, I will hold the former president responsible for the performance of some of his ministers, because I didn't see that tight grip in terms of accountability. The ministers were just operating in different silos. I didn't see that coordination. So for me, I don't think I have anyone in mind. That, I mean, is it the education minister? I didn't see what that one has done. Is it transportation minister? Well, the first one did some little things, but again, I did not see integration. I did not see that teamwork. So for me to advise President Tinubu now, I will say there will be no need for him to take any of these former ministers, because I mean, they have done their bits.
All right.
And let them leave the stage and allow for other more vibrant Nigerians to take over. And of course, some of them can be maybe in terms of board, in most
chairman of
board and all that.
MDs.
Yes, because their experience is there. You know, from time to time, the government can call upon them. But for the ministers that we're expecting, I want to see transparency, because a minister who is on ground, not minister who wants to quarrel just to visit, and you are not doing the job. You are just, it's just kind of how do I put it now? Ceremony. I want to see a minister who roll their sleeves up and really work and see that. The one thing again, it's also good to have, you know, is it they say round pegs in a round holes? Yeah. Yes, we need to see that. But I also notice that whatever ministry you post somebody who is an achiever, no matter how technical that ministry is, even without experience, if you want to achieve, it's simply about human resources. It's simply about people. So I want to see these ministers that have that people skill, emotional intelligence, and at the same time give Nigerians that periodic briefing and be accountable to the people. Know that you have been called upon to serve. That is the most important thing.
That is very critical.
Not that you are there to, you know, recoup whatever expenses you have incurred while trying to support the president when he was a candidate. You know, then the president, to my advice for him will be, if he identifies any talent that did not even support him during his campaign as a candidate, he should go beyond that and select that person. He should go beyond party lines, because as soon as they are appointed minister, they are not minister for APC or minister for Labour Party or PDP. You are a minister of the Federal Republic. So let him get the best hands. I'm not only the fact that he has to also compensate some politicians, loyalists who have. Then of course we are forgetting something: gender affirmation. That cabinet, there has to be a balance. I want to see females, women in that cabinet, even youths.
I was about to say that I'm going to advocate for more youths on the cabinet. So finally, now let's look at this story that says that the federal government has published a report that the volume of petrol consumed in the country actually declined in the first half of the year to 11.26 billion liters. And before now, there've been this report that Nigeria consumed a lot of fuel, but with the removal of fuel subsidy, we're seeing something different. Charles, what's happening here?
Yes, again,
who has been playing us a fast one?
I keep saying it, that the oil and gas industry, the PMS, the importation, the distribution, it has been very, very opaque. There are a lot of mysteries in it, and now it's being demystified. And I keep saying it, for any government to succeed, transparency. Let these figures be open. Let Nigerians see. You can see now, because subsidy has been removed, we're in the post-deregulation era now. We are seeing that our consumption is now reducing. So that means that when some of government officials will tell us, or even advocates will tell us, subsidy for us was a scam. And I begin to ask, how can it be a scam? If people present papers and they will be paid, then where is the scam coming from? So it's obvious that we were paying subsidy for what we're not even consuming. And again, you also notice that some of this consumption, some of these products, we don't even consume it here in the country. They go outside our borders, and we can see.
And so we are paying out for
exactly. You know, when they will tell us that it's a scam, people will just get papers, they sign, and no product is being brought in, and they collect money. For me, it's a criminal offense. It's an economic crime, and I expect EFCC in particular to do justice to that. The persons that were involved in this kind of operations should be arrested now, and they start prosecuting them, because we know the amount of money they must have signed for in this era of saying it is subsidy. So yes, we're beginning to see some of the good parts of the fuel subsidy removal, and I think this should continue. And is it the NNPC Limited now? They should continue to give us accurate figures as to the liters of PMS we consumed.
All right, let's quickly look at this. I think we still have some few more time to wrap up this segment. The final story now, the National Bureau of Statistics has come out to say that capital importation declined by 28%, and that's to record $1.1 million from the $1.5 million it recorded in the same quarter. That's the first quarter of this year compared to the first quarter of last year. Charles, what's really happening? Why are we having a decline in capital importation in the country?
You know, the first quarter of this year was a lot of political tension, and that affected the economy. So in terms of these foreigners coming to do business here, of course, they were a little bit circumspect. You know, they were now looking at what is going to happen.
Yeah.
But we see that after all the political arena, all the issues, we have a new government in place. Yeah. There was a seamless transition. We are seeing these things gradually coming into place. So, yes, it is expected. Those figures we are seeing, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I even think we even did a little better, you know, because I expect that those figures should have been much more worse. But thank God, the economy is now in the new administration that have given us renewed hope. So we expect to see an improvement in these figures.
Okay, Charles, I beg your pardon. This is the much time we permit us to take on this segment, and then we hope that some of the stories. We hope that then the government and those in authorities will look at it and they provide all the necessary solutions to them so as to bring some kind of relief to the economy, the businesses, and then to household.